Hey guys, hope you're having a great week and excited for your weekend. Today we're going to finish off the week talking a bit more about blogs, and I just want to talk about a few things that can really change your blog. They can either make it really good or really bad. And so we're going to touch a bit on these today and talk about some of these points. Then also take some time this weekend to dive in and create your blog. Get started. Take advantage of the opportunity that we have with Wild Disc to have not only our personalized website, but an individualized blog. One where you can go on, you can write about your life, you can share what's happening, you can talk with people and connect. That's what it's all about. And not a lot of other sites offer this opportunity. So take advantage of this. This is a huge benefit that we have available to us. So use it. It's a great way to really grow your business. So this week, we've talked about how to create content. We've talked about some of the do's and don'ts. We've really gone into a lot of the basics that it takes to be successful at a blog. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about a few things that I have found that are very simple, common, oftentimes mistakes with small changes can be made much better. So we're going to talk a bit about those. So the first thing that I want to talk about is images. Okay, these are actual images that I have seen on people's blogs, and there's not a description necessarily to go with it, or there is in some situations, and let me explain. So for instance, the top left picture here, it is a person, it looks like a shadow, I guess, walking on a beach. Well, that's really cool, but it's super blurry and it doesn't look real. So if I was to see this on someone's blog, I wouldn't necessarily associate that with them being on vacation. So if you're going to use a picture like this, explain why it's like this. Don't put it up there as a picture of your vacation and expect me just to associate that with your vacation. Okay? The next picture here is to the right. It's a picture of a city in the rain. Now, this is a cool picture, and depending on your blog post, it could be used. In this example, it was used incorrectly. It was taken and it was basically saying a rainy day in the city. Well, that's great, but you can't tell much about it. So again, there's other ways to capture the picture a bit better. Now, if you're taking pictures of a bit more modern looking picture or abstract type things, which sometimes you'll do, this could be great. But if you're talking about, a trip in the city, and again, this is all from the same person's blog, right? The same person's trip. So they're on vacation. So they're talking about their day in the city, and this is the picture you see. It doesn't tell you much. So you want to make sure that you're clear. And then down below, this is again that same person. This is their night trip. Okay? So this is the nightlife. This is the view from their room, whatever it might be. But what do you see here? It's super pixelated. It's super bright. They didn't really do a good job taking this picture. So again, it doesn't give you any idea of what it is they're really looking at. So if they're like, oh, check out our beautiful scenery, well, great. I don't see anything. So make sure your images are super clear and that they relate with what you're saying. It's super important that they can do that, and that when people look at them, they get excited and motivated and not like, oh, what is that? Because the last thing you want is someone to read your content and then the image not to make them equally or more excited. So here's a couple images that are much better way to use. So it's raining in the city. It's been a busy, rainy day. Well, this shows that, right? This shows out and about in the rain. You can see it rains. You can see they're busy. It really shows what it is that they're trying to get across. Okay, here to the right, you have a picture of the beach. It's just a simple shot that they took. Not a big deal, but yet it's colorful. It's bright. You can tell it's a beach. You can tell it's a beautiful beach. Like, you can see that. So if they're talking about crystal clear waters in their blog and the great views, guess what? You can see that in this picture. And then here is a great shot of the nightlife. See the nightlife, see what we're looking at. You can tell what it is. So it's not just so much like shadows and bright lights. You can actually see what it is you're looking at. So this is super important. Make sure your images speak and go with what you're saying. This is absolutely a must. This can literally make or break your blog with the images you choose to use. Images get people's attention. It gets them excited. It gets them motivated. And that's what you want to be happening when you're blogging. So make sure you take the time to really do that, okay? So the next thing that I want to talk about is font colors. Now, you'll see on here, I put a couple examples, and maybe some of them you won't see because they are so hard to see, and that's okay. I did this because these are actual colors that I've seen on blogs before. Now, the question I have for you is, if someone cannot read your blog because of the color, how successful is that font color? That is the first thing to think about. Can it be easily read? Now, the third one down you'll see, so this one here that says never used, this like purple pinkish color. So you can read that easily, but you put that into a couple paragraphs and you start reading it, and after a while, your eyes are going to get tired. I don't want the people that read my blog post to have this issue. I do not want them to get tired of reading my post or not get through the rest of the post because of something as simple as the font color. So this is something that's super important to keep in mind. So colors that are bright, like this yellow color, or really light, like almost pastel-y type colors, avoid these. Now, if these are a part of your brand or your logo or your look, use them as accent colors, but don't go overboard and don't use them for the font. The font needs to be something that people can see, something that they can read easily, and something that is inviting. You don't want to have done this amazing post, have amazing pictures, and a great quality blog, but then something as simple as the color is going to push them away. Okay, here's a couple colors that I do recommend using. Again, reds, blues, blacks, purples. Your darker hues, the darker colors that are easier to read on the eyes, these are great for text. Something that people can read a ton of and keep going. Even red at times can be a bit tricky on the eyes, so be smart. I like to use red as emphasis words, so if I have certain words that I'm trying to really put focus on, I'll put those in red, but I never really put the entire post in red. Some people do. It is better than other colors, but again, be smart with it. It's definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, so font types. This is probably one of my favorites. Again, you want it to be something that can be easily read, right? Something that people can look at and really understand. My favorite is this first example here. So these are legit fonts that I have seen on someone's blog. And the first one, so this one here, I would have no clue what that is saying. I'd have no idea. And I asked the person what they were trying to say, and their whole goal was to take me on a journey, so I had to find out what it was saying. Well, I don't have time to do that, and most people that read your blog post don't either. So don't get creative with that. Be smart, guys. Don't put some font on there that no one has any clue what it is or what it says. The next one here, this block-looking font, it's really hard to read, especially when you're doing smaller paragraph text. It becomes to be quite complicated and difficult for people to read. Again, down at the bottom, this third one, this cursive isn't bad, but it is borderline, so when you start to write a lot, it does get to be hard to read. And then this last one here, it is quite thin, and so it can be difficult to read. Again, you don't want to lose readership because of a font type, something that you thought was a good idea, and then really it's hard for people to read. So keep that in mind. Here's a few examples of simple fonts that you can use. If you like a more like cursive type flowing font, this last one is a great example. Just go online and play around with different fonts. See what works and what you like and why you like it, and kind of play around with that a bit. But make sure it's easy to read. I don't want you to miss out on having people read your blog because they can't read it, or it's hard on their eyes, or it gives them a headache. I've heard this happen. I've seen this happen. So definitely be smart with it, okay? So these are just a few tips that are super important to remember. They're an absolute must when creating your blog. People need to come on and they need to see your images and get excited. They need to be able to read your content. They need to be able to see what's there and not get a headache doing it. They need to be able to really enjoy the time that they have on your blog, and you want them to feel invited to come back, right? So if someone reads it and at the end they're like, oh, I have a headache, or oh, my eyes are tired, or oh, it wasn't that exciting, the chances of them coming back are going to be much smaller. So make sure that you have an inviting, exciting blog that makes it so people are comfortable. They feel excited to be there and they want to stay there. That's what you want them doing. You want them to get to know you. Find a way to express your personality and your individualized, approach to your blog in a way that's not going to compromise the comfort and this inviting atmosphere that we want to create. Have a great week, guys, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know.